SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
Gateway Rescue Mission, meeting the physical and spiritual needs of the homeless right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Check us out at www.gatewaymission.org.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. I am Steve Azar reminding you that my dear friends over there at visitmississippi.org, man, they are luring people in a beautiful way to our hallowed ground we call Mississippi. Go to visitmississippi.org. Celebrate your Mississippi, plan a road trip. Today's guest is a passionate voice in the world of choral music and education in the arts. He currently serves as the staff music instructor and director of choral ensembles at the Delta State University, where he is shaping the next generation of vocalists and leaders. A proud New Orleans native, and I'm proud of New Orleans all the time. With deep roots in traditional spirituals, R&B, and jazz, he is widely recognized as a vocal activist, advocating for the power of choral music ministry, both nationally and worldly. With past careers serving at Tiffin University and Defiance College, he has conducted a wide range of ensembles from gospel choirs to tenor bass groups, while also teaching music history and survey classes. He is currently pursuing his doctorate in music ministry at William Carey University, where his research explores educators as servant leaders in Christ. So beautiful. He performed in some incredibly historic venues, Westminster Abbey, Bath Abbey, St. Paul's in London. He's collaborated with legendary composers like John Rutter, Bob Chilcott. The list goes on. His career is further enriched by work with top figures in worship and academic communities, and his impact continues to grow through mentorship, scholarships, and service. We are here today not only to celebrate this man's beautiful career in the arts and his love of teaching the next generation, but also talk about his Delta State choral group, the Singers. Delta State Singers head into Carnegie Hall soon. So we're going to dig into that and a whole lot more with Tracy Hilaire. What's up, Trace?
What's going on?
Glad to have you on. How you doing?
It's good to be here. I'm really glad to be back here in Mississippi, and I just think great things are happening here at Delta State.
You have zero NOLA accent going. What's going on here? I was ready to hear it.
Everybody tells me that I have the New York or Northern accent, but I don't really have the Southern, talk like this. I don't really have that. I don't know what happened.
I wasn't worried about that. I was ready to hear Boudreaux and Thibodeau.
Boudreaux and Thibodeau down on the bayou.
So you can do it. Okay, good. Hey, so let's talk about New Orleans. First of all, I grew up with New Orleans in my veins. We grew up about 4 hours and 15 minutes from the Mississippi River, right there to downtown New Orleans. My mom went to college there. My brother was in Tulane med school there. My brother-in-laws went to med school there. My sisters lived there for a while. We go there a couple times a year just to soak it in. There's something so special about that sense of place. Music when I was a kid, listening to the Nevilles and the Radiators and all that at Tipitino's and all that. It was a big influence on me. So talk to me about that influence in New Orleans. Obviously, church must have played a huge role in your life like so many of the greats. It did in mine, I can tell you, and everybody in the music business that I know in Mississippi. So tell me about growing up, where the influences came from, who the mentors were. Take me back to your wonder years.
So actually, it started off when I was in second grade. My mom put me in piano lessons. actually put me in my piano lessons with my grandma, Frosine Francis, who has her own music studio. She's had it for years. And I'm gonna just be flat out honest with you. I was a terrible kid. I was a terrible child. I didn't want to listen. I have cousins who, they soared in piano, but something about that piano I refused to play. But at the time, honestly, I didn't even think I would be teaching music. I thought I was probably going to be a pilot. I also wanted to be a college professor when I was young too. So, but I didn't think it would be music, if that made sense. It was between maybe like teaching literature or, being a pilot. So I had no idea. But
This whole pilot
however,
thing's shaking things up for me right now. I just want you to know that. Like, you're talking about the one I'm thinking, oh, maybe it would be something closer to the arts, but the pilot thing to me is as far as you could fly away from that. But I'm just cracking up. But we'll talk about that love in a minute. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so when I was in fourth grade, well, let me go back. The pilot thing comes from, I think, evacuating for Katrina. And then later on, we went to visit family in New York. And so I got to fly all in that same year. And so, man, it was first time flying and I was just so fascinated. So I was like, I want to be a pilot. But however, music really, when I got to fourth grade, Mr. Alvin Pittman, he was my band teacher, and he gave me the trombone. I have a cousin, his name's Charles Lumar. He's a big, musician down in the city. He's been on the Jimmy Fallon show, played with Solange. So it runs in the family. And I don't know, something about that trombone, man. I just love the way, it's all in the wrist with the slides, and, it just had a nice sound to it. And so I played trombone up until I was a freshman in high school. And then I think that's when the love for choral music came. I participated in the All-State under Dr. Deborah Chandler. And, I'd been to all states, where the conductors were great, the music was good, but, the way she taught choral music line by line, actually, our choir just performed this piece. It's called In Remembrance. It's probably one of the best pieces I've ever, sang in my lifetime. And, the way she taught it, it's all about how you take the text in and then portray it out. And I never saw it that way. I had teachers who, they pushed the music and they loved the music, but I never saw someone push the message. And, I was able to embody that when she was preaching it. I wouldn't say she was teaching it, she was preaching it. And then when I saw the impact in the room, and then I remember being on the bus going home, me and my friend Desmond, we were just like, man, everybody in that room's inspired. Everybody in that room wants to do something. And so, I just was like, if I can get in front of a bunch of kids, give them some good music and inspire them with the text, I was like, this is what I want to do for my career. And so that's when the whole choral journey became like, that was it. No more pilot, no more literature. I was like, I know I want to be a choir teacher.
We got a great pilot aviation program at Delta State. You could be just kind of moonlighting right now and getting that fix in if you wanted to.
Well, we have a ton of pilots in the choir, and
so funny.
It's crazy because they all say like, "Hey, we can take you up." And I said, "Yeah, with the way things are going, I think I'm safer on the ground right now teaching choral music." But it's crazy. We have I want to say we have about 10 or 15 in the choir.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So tell me about like your recruiting process, and we're a Division II school. I went there many years ago, and one of the reasons. When we moved back from Nashville, one of the 7 things that needed to happen was I wanted to become a part of the Delta Music Institute where we used to play basketball. It was an intramural gym.
Yeah.
And so I've made all my records since I've been back there. And a lot of the acts I've produced, it's just brilliant there. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it. But so what's the drill for you as far as going out and recruiting? What are you allowed to do and not allowed to do? Do you have money to do it? I mean, like, what's going on there?
Here's the deal. For me, I played college tennis at Belhaven, not too far down the road.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was at Belhaven during their last 2 NAIA seasons and 2 years before they switched to D3. So there's part of me that I do see choir from an athletic standpoint as far as recruitment. I actually, in my mind, I go by, no different from the star system, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star recruit. So, if it's a 5-star recruit, I'm going after them, and if they can sight read, they bring something to the table. A main thing I look for is leadership. We don't just want to bring anybody to Delta State. We want to bring good leaders,
Absolutely.
people that's going to go and make an impact, a kingdom impact in the world, most specifically.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah, there's 3-star and 2-star recruits. So, you can match pitch and, there's opportunity to build. Absolutely. I want you to. Like, there's no in between. Like, if we can have you here, we want you here. But the biggest thing for me is that I want to fill the choir with people who, feel a sense of belonging. And so that's when I go out there,
Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. When I go out there and and I'm looking for students, I'm like, hey, I want to find people that's gonna come here and say Delta State's home. I want to stay for the long term because I can find myself there.
I love that. I waved you off a little early. I love that. See, people can't see that because they're listening. We'll be right back with Tracy Hilaire, hanging out at Delta State, doing a lot of great things for the choral ensemble unit there, heading to Carnegie Hall. We'll talk about that in a minute. Visit Mississippi.org. It's all about the arts. We're the birthplace of America's music. We'll be right back with Tracy.
Yeah, baby, I'm gonna be good.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
We're into a Mississippi Minute, segment number 2, rocking into it with a NOLA native with obviously a crazy history in music. He can defy it all he wants, but at some point it seeps in, especially where he grew up in NOLA. You grew up in Mississippi, you grew up in Louisiana, you're sort of, and you've got this musical talent, it's going to find you no matter how hard you try to hide. There is no place in hide and seek that works. It doesn't work. Visit Mississippi.org. Why would you hide from anything? You need to seek out Mississippi. Check out some new locations, places you hadn't been to in a while. So many wonderful things that scream the arts in a beautiful way. We're the birthplace of it all. Tracy Hilaire is my guest today. Tracy, the reason I went to Delta State, me and my buddy, it kind of snuck up on us, but we went to play tennis there. And my buddy decided, he stuck it out. I went to practice for the first few days, and the coach at the time would not allow us to play intramural football or basketball or anything. You had to be, and I was gone in 2 seconds because I love to play basketball, and I wanted to sort of be involved in everything. My buddy Ken played for a year, and then the team folded for a little bit, but we grew up playing tennis and competing and had a great time traveling the state of Mississippi and USTA in the summer and all that. It was a lot of friends I made over the time. And I was a better doubles player, and I was really lazy on the singles court, I can tell you. You wanted to draw me on the singles court because it wasn't going to take long. I had no patience for it. So you'd have wiped me off the planet. But I love the fact that you talk about tennis. I always talk about sports and how we use it to decide on things musically. Because you lose a lot, and then you understand what went wrong. You work out your mistakes, and next thing you're winning. You go, okay, that's a beautiful feeling. But it's the learning times to me that have been the greatest because it allows you to escalate your game in life and whatever you do. Okay, you get through all that. You're a high school kid. You go play college tennis. Are you doing the choral thing in college as well? I mean, when are you starting to take on this?
Yes, sir. So while I was at Belhaven, not only just playing on the team, but I was also a full-time music major. At the time, it was the Belhaven Chorale, and we also had the Belhaven University Choir. So singing in both of those, which proved tough because tennis practice happened between 1 and 3, and a lot of the music courses, music history, music theory, also happened between 1 and 3. But the university was able to make out a deal for me so that way I could be able to still pursue both and, be active in both still very highly.
Wow, I love it. Okay, so you get out of college and take me through the next steps. What the plan is at this point. Was anything so revealing or did you have to do a little work?
Well, actually, I worked in the admissions office at Belhaven, right after I graduated. And I did that for about, I want to say for about 4 months. And then I was actually at a conference, an all-state conference again. So what a coincidence, another all-state conference, but this time I'm just attending, well, at a table recruiting for Belhaven, and I listened to that all-state choir. And in my mind, I was like, well, as much as I loved admissions, as much as I loved Belhaven, I was like, this was what I knew the Lord was calling me to do. I was convinced. I said, I want to teach choral music. And so it just so happened, Sam Bueller, who was my middle school principal, happened to be the principal at the elementary school that I once went to as a kid. And he actually saw me at that conference and he said, I have a job for you waiting whenever you're ready. He said, we need a choir teacher. We've actually haven't had one in 7 months. And our kids, they're suffering because they don't get any music.
I love hearing someone say that in education.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of folks would just brush it off and just kind of go, okay, we don't have to deal with it, or we don't want to deal with it. But you and I both know the impact this makes to round out the lives of everyone, especially you being an athlete. I love hearing you say that about him as well. I mean, that's cool because you can't tell me that the arts isn't one of the most important things for nurturing a kid.
Right. I agree.
So continue. I'm sorry.
And so, I ended up leaving Belhaven to go teach, did some elementary and middle school stuff. And for 3.5 years, I did that. And I really enjoyed it. At the time, COVID took a big hit in New Orleans as it did everywhere. But I had 75 elementary kids in my classroom, and I just knew that there was music that had to be made. And so we pretty much worked out a deal with our local church that the kids would come and give a spring concert and a fall concert on top of the concerts we had scheduled through the school system. And so my thing was, it was twofold. I saw it having the opportunity to bring young people back to church, but then at the same time, allowing older people to see how important the arts are. It's something that we can't really give up on. It's something that we have to continue to push because people find themselves among the arts. And so, sure. I really enjoyed my time working at Luling Elementary. It was great. I still have students that, they're in middle school now, but their parents will see me when I go back home and they say, so-and-so misses you. They're still doing choir. And my thing is, if I could have exposed them to understand, start singing now. So by the time you're in high school, that scholarship opportunity, just like I have now. And I've even told some of them who have older siblings, I said, hey, I'm at Delta State. If there's any way I can help you, because I know you have music talent, give me a call. I think it's just all about giving back where you can.
Oh, I love hearing that. A lot of people, and even me, took a while before our foundation started to do its thing. My wife used to go, it's time. And I go, I think I need to be a little bigger, a little bit more notable, and a little bit this and that, more hits and da-da. And she was going like, you're going to keep saying this for the rest of your life. It's time. And I wish I would have listened to her earlier, but God had a plan for what we're doing, and it's great. But you're exactly right. I love the fact that you've realized that at such a young age. That's a beautiful thing. That's a tribute to your upbringing and everything around you. I had a great upbringing. They were always giving back, but I was so focused on career that I was leaving some things out along the way. And I've been asking for forgiveness ever since. So all right, let's get into Delta State for a second. What's the whole Carnegie Hall thing? I'm excited for you guys. Obviously, you've got a lot of pulls and ties in the global scene of music. I know that plays a big role into the opportunities for kids. So kudos for Delta State for finding you, hunting you down. And I want to talk about, first of all, how they found you. And then I want to talk about Carnegie Hall. We got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left in this segment. And so we can cut it in half and go from there. How does Delta State find you, first of all?
Well, I was working at Defiance College in Tiffin University, actually at the same time. Defiance, Ohio, Tiffin, Ohio. So very close to Ann Arbor and Detroit. I was about an hour 15, hour 20 from Ann Arbor, and same distance from Detroit. So right close to the border. And my mom really, it was killing her. I'm the baby. It was killing her that
Baby's a long way from home.
Yeah, it killed her that I was so far away. And so she was praying that, she was actually praying that the Lord would send me to Mississippi. And,
Wow.
part of it and me too, I enjoyed my time at Belhaven. I was praying that an opportunity would actually open back home south. And so I was aware of what was happening at Delta State previously, but when I saw the position, my friend Brandon Cash, who's also the choir director at Mississippi Valley, he said, man, I think that this is the perfect opportunity for you to come here and do something different and something that they're not used to seeing. And I had to think about it, because of course, given the stipulations of how, everything fell, but I knew that the Lord was preparing me to come here and do something for the Delta. That, I love New York. I love those things, but just for a student body, come here and, be a voice and also be present for the
Yeah.
students that you have.
You're
And
also
so,
there at a good time right now because you guys are rebuilding something. President Ennis is all in. He's excited. I know that when you rebuild, sometimes you got to break down and you got to go back. But I really trust him. He's a God-fearing, beautiful man, beautiful family, and I believe he's our guy.
I believe so too.
Yeah. So I love it. Let's take a quick break. We're talking to Tracy Hilaire. Him and his Delta State choral ensemble are going to be rocking Carnegie Hall soon. We're going to get to that next. But I love getting the story before, and as you can tell, one of the best things I think I've ever heard is your mom was praying you back to Mississippi. That is beautiful. That's 100 songs in one. Visit Mississippi.org. Totally gets it. Plan a road trip to your Mississippi. I'm Steve Azar. We'll be right back.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time homebuyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Homebuyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time homebuyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
There's a ton of content from SuperTalk Mississippi on our new YouTube channel. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi on YouTube or go to supertalk.fm/YouTube. Be sure and subscribe for free to get the latest scoop on what's happening in Mississippi news, politics, sports, and the good things happening here in the state. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
I can't get over that. My mom was praying me back to Mississippi. That has moved me. I'm still cold. Tracy Hilaire is my guest today. Visit Mississippi.org, the birthplace of America's music. Plan a trip on the Blues Trail marker, the historic Blues Trails. You can end up in Liverpool. As I say, we were there, leaving a trail marker there for the Beatles invasion. I was on the levee with Buddy Guy. It was an insane, beautiful evening. These are the things that lure people, and that was actually on the Louisiana side of Mississippi. There's trail markers all over the place, from Muddy Waters at Stovall, B.B. King, and Indianola, everywhere. You got to check it out. Robert Johnson, the list goes on and on. Plan a road trip. Just follow the blues trail markers. It's going to take you a while. All right. Tracy Hilaire is my guest today. He is the director of all things choral ensemble for Delta State University. Had a cool tennis career in college, and the good Lord is always front and center in his life. And now, Tracy, let's dig a little bit about why Carnegie Hall, how Carnegie Hall. Are the kids excited? What goes into it? Do you need money? Yeah, come on, do the whole thing.
Yeah. So actually, we had two offers. You know, it's crazy. We've gotten two offers in the past 2 years. We have Carnegie Hall and we have the Lincoln Center. And so we're actually, you know, I know you stayed at Carnegie Hall, but we're actually leaning Lincoln Center
Oh, wow.
because it would be us and multiple high schools in the state of Mississippi going. We actually got the invitation about 2 weeks ago from Jordan Langworthy, who's at Germantown, and she emailed us. She said that she's been watching what's happening here at Delta State, and that she would be honored to have us, you know, come with them to go to the Lincoln Center. We're actually one of the only institutions going. Other than that, it's a bunch of high schools. So what I love is that our Delta State students will have the opportunity to, spend days with these high schools, but tell them about their experience, why they chose Delta State, give them the opportunity to hear what's happening, what's taking off in our core program. And it's my great hope that that is a way of recruitment to allow those students to see Delta State in a different limelight.
Oh, that's insider recruiting. I love that, which is legal. I love that. And you and I talked about the Starkville singers and Jennifer Davis. I've gotten to work with them doing One Mississippi Days with the state song and stuff, and with the children's book with Sarah Frances Hardy, my illustrator. We've done a few things in Starkville, and they've showed up every time to sing with me. And then I didn't know they had this side to them, which was this choral, side. They were just doing One Mississippi. Well, then they, on their own, decided to go to the state capitol during legislative sessions, and I get this video. And I'm cold. I mean, I didn't know that the song could be sung like that. And so now our plan is to combo with you, which is amazing that we're talking about all this. You're talking about high school kids, and we talked about Jennifer on the front side of before we came on the air. It's amazing that this sort of is coming together right there on this show. I can't wait for that to happen. I can't wait to watch you guys work, because what you guys do, I don't even comprehend. Musically, I can do a lot of things in the studio, but I can't wait to be the fly on the wall when we work on this thing together. And I'm ready to learn. Even at my age, I never get tired of learning anything in the music business. So I'm excited about us putting that together and hearing One Mississippi with you guys doing it. I just can't wait. All right, and having it documented, which is going to be great. So you decide on Lincoln Center. So when is all this coming down?
March 26th to the 30th.
Oh, so you're there for 4 days. How many times do you perform?
We perform one time at the Lincoln Center, and so the first few days are all rehearsals. But also in the midst of doing rehearsals, we'll get the opportunity to visit different places, probably NOMA, maybe the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Statue of Liberty, things like that. So we'll have the opportunity to also do New York things in the midst of rehearsing. We're doing the works of Kyle Peterson, who's a pretty grand composer right now, who's really coming up in the choral world. And I'm just really excited. I'm excited about the opportunity, just for Kyle Peterson to write pieces for us to perform, so it's twofold. He's preparing pieces for us. So, we're not just talking about a performance. We're talking about probably the grand stage, first class world experience. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a world premiere of a work. And so I'm super excited about that.
So y'all are the only ones that have done this piece.
It will be the first. We will be the first ones to perform.
What's your connection with him?
Well, I don't have a connection with Kyle, but Jordan does. The person at Germantown.
Right.
And so, we're just super excited, man.
What about you getting into the composer world, or you already there?
I am not there yet. I'm working on a piece currently right now. Me and Caston Kirkland, one of the students here who's in the DMI, we're working on something.
Sure.
So check this out. This year we will have a men's chorus with all guys, tenor bass. We're looking at about 20 to 30 voices. It's my great hope that we'll also get the opportunity to, get them some blazers and some green and white ties, like a men's glee club, and take them to perform. I know sometimes the guys can get a little fed up, all the time, always with the girls. And I hate to say it, but man, the girls don't play in choir practice. They come and they're on it. And I think sometimes the guys can kind of get a little overlooked with the work they're doing. So this is kind of a group where I'm hoping that they'll come and find themselves. And, we have football players here that have talked to me, and they're like, I really want to give it a try. It's, something about the energy that you bring here. Like I just love to experience a class with you. And so it's my hope that that'll be a class where it's like the beginner voice, to maybe grow it. But then at the same time where, I feel like there's this thing where like men shouldn't sing. We're living in a time where people have these bad connotations on guys singing, and I'm trying to destroy that stuff. And like I said, I want people to find belonging. And so if you play a sport here, I don't want you to think, oh, well, guys don't sing. No, come on,
Yeah.
come on,
Hey, Tracy, let me tell you, it was in New Orleans at this big convention when I was 14 years old. And I've told this to my wife many times. She cracks up, but it's the truth. This is why guys should think different. I had asked a couple girls the night before to dance, and they said no, right? And the next night I was in the talent show, which I don't know if I won it, but I was up there playing. And then I was back at the same place, and I couldn't get them away from me. And I was going like, isn't that interesting? The guy singing and playing guitar. And
Right.
it sort of set the stage for me to realize I got to be careful in life, because are they infatuated with what was on stage, or they didn't care about me at all the day before? That sort of set the tone for me, making decisions along the way. But it was it's very funny looking back. So you tell your guys, what are they talking about? Singers always get the girl. What are they talking about?
I think we're breaking it.
I think it's good. I love hearing football players. We were good friends with a lot of the Kappa Alpha Psi's. They were mostly football players at Delta State, basketball players when I was at Delta State. And I remember some of them singing like it was crazy. And I was going like, what is that? And Gerald Glass, one of the greatest basketball players at Delta State history, ended up going to Ole Miss and ended up playing in the NBA for a zillion years. When he grew up in Greenwood, he was playing at church, playing the bass guitar. And I remember him telling me, man, he loved playing the bass guitar, but he was legit. So growing up in that whole world of gospel and all that, I just think that it's not, even if you end up doing something else in life, that time at church, I mean, I had it writing songs for meditation. I'm Catholic, so I'd have that time after communion and leading the congregation in the songs that we were doing, because I was finding stuff that was a little off the beaten path at times that sounded really good and people could sing with you. You know what I mean? Like a lot of songs in church, you eliminate a lot of people from the key you're singing it in, or just you can't follow the melody. And I'm going like, who wrote that? Like, that's too crazy. Let's take a quick break. Tracy Hilaire is my guest today. He is head of all things choral ensembles at Delta State University. What a great guy. Heading to the Lincoln Center now, not Carnegie Hall. We've switched that in one show. That's how fast a Mississippi Minute will change things. I'm glad I got the memo after the fact. So funny. Visit Mississippi.org. Proud of these kids at Delta State. Proud of Tracy. Spreading the word of music further in our historic state. Go to visit Mississippi.org. We'll be right back with Tracy.
Yeah, you're my sunshine. 'Cause like the dawn, you push it all the way. I'm still trying to find my way. Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
There ain't no street in this town where the memories don't lay thick on the ground. No.
We have a small segment left. I hate that sometimes, especially when I just start getting to know my guest. Tracy Allaire Jr. is my guest today. A NOLA native, found himself playing tennis in college in Mississippi, found himself in Ohio at schools I've never heard of before, and then made his way back through prayer from his beautiful mom, got him back to Delta State University in Mississippi. She wanted him back on Mississippi soil, and I think that is a beautiful thing. Visit Mississippi.org. I don't need to say anything any more than that. That says it all. Tracy and his choral group, ensemble group at Delta State is going to be going to the Lincoln Center with a bunch of schools in high school, playing a piece that nobody's ever heard before, it sounds like, and going to visit New York and experience that. Tracy, our baby girl, is 24, and she's a chef making her way up in New York. So we get to go visit her and hug on her a little bit. You know, she's been cooking with, I make the joke, with plastic since she was 2 years old. By the time she was 7 and 8, she was using real knives. I mean, we knew this was her calling, you know? She's gone off and studied in Spain and did all the degrees and all the culinary schools and all that. And she's fighting her way up, and it's, you know, it has tears and it has joys, but she's so happy, you know? And I'm going like, you know, the money will find you if you stay happy with the love of music. When you're growing up and stuff and you choose teaching, which we both know is an underpaid career choice and career path, because you can't pay a teacher enough, especially the good ones that just, you know, it's amazing. So have you ever thought, or where did you get the I'm trying to figure out the confidence of knowing that it's going to take care of you if you take care of it?
I'm gonna just be very straightforward. I tell people I wear my faith on my shoulders. It's prayer and faith, man. I think it's all about servant leadership. I think it's all about, you know, I think the one thing I took from Belhaven University, which is their school, you know, scripture, that the Lord came to serve, not to be served. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing. You know, I think if you have a servant attitude, then for the most part, through there, prayer and faith, and the Lord will cover you all the way through. And that's my personal belief. I'm getting the opportunity to work with Dr. Vernon Whaley over at Tribeca Nazarene as I finish my doctorate. And I just when I see my students now, you know, I even met with a student this morning. I told him it's all about serving. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what I want them to take. I teach music. I love music. I do. But most importantly, I need a lot of people out there. And I'm saying this because I want a lot of, if there's any professors or teachers, K through 12, you know, we really teach life. You know, it's much more than us. You know, we are teaching people how to become better people. And so it starts with us.
Tracy, are you seeing at your age group and being surrounded just ahead of you and below you, age-wise, are you seeing a departure from faith more than you did when you were a kid?
I wouldn't say it's a departure. I would say that I feel like, you know, people want to know, but is it that we're taking the time to actually teach them? And most importantly, meet them where they are. I think people want to do better. Yeah.
Meet them where they are, because that's where they are, right?
That's where they are, yeah.
Yeah, people see their journey in front of them and what they have to deal with during the day and what the opportunities that lie in front of them. And then they just can scoot the faith thing over to the side, and they don't realize if you have faith as the centerpiece, all those opportunities will show themselves and present themselves. And you get to start understanding when you run into the devil who that is. You know, like they become more apparent, and you spend less time chasing things with the wrong people. I mean, that's right. What I've learned in life. And trust me, I've had to chase people in the record business and be with people in the record business, be with wonderful people. You know, 90% of them have been phenomenal, great faith-based people, wonderful people. But then you get around that 10% and they're part of the game. And it's a struggle to be in conversation with them, much less even in the same state with them. You know, you feel it feels a little dirty. You know, it does. You know, and you know what? It never works out. That's the thing. It just doesn't work out. All right. So what's y'all's plan like this year, curriculum wise? After the Lincoln Center, I know that's in March. You're back in Mississippi now, and you're about to prepare your curriculum. Sort of take me through the first few weeks of what you do to indoctrinate everybody.
So really we get music out. And I'm actually working on it now where, you know, the music's already picked, getting everything together as far as, you know, scores, how many, what measures we need to be done by certain days. And then, of course, we do buy choral tracks so that way students can practice at home. I get it. Not everyone can play the piano, but most importantly, I think a big thing here in the Delta is everyone's raised in the church, right? So everybody's playing or singing by ear, and that's a blessing. It really is a blessing. That's something I was not fortunate to have in Ohio. Maybe at Tiffin, but not at Defiance. And so coming here, it was a big change to me. I got about 15 kids on the choir that can go to town on the piano and play the same gospel song 15 different ways. I mean, It really speaks to the state.
Wow.
It speaks to the state.
It does. I agree with you. I appreciate you taking the time. Delta State's in a great place with you, my man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Big win. Tracy Hilaire, Jr., my guest today, head of all things director, choral ensembles, Delta State University. They're heading to New York to the Lincoln Center to tear it up. Not Carnegie Hall, or maybe they'll do both this year. And maybe I won't be wrong in part of my interview or getting the wrong information. But seriously, visit Mississippi.org. Man, plan a road trip to your Mississippi. Head on over to the Civil Rights Museum in Jackson. It'll blow your mind. Just blow your mind. I'm Steve Azar. We've been with Tracy Hilaire.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.